Today, we will be discussing regarding e-commerce pertaining to the digital markets and as well as with the digital goods. The learning objectives after the discussion of this topic are: what are the unique features of e-commerce, digital markets, and the digital goods? What are the principal e-commerce business and revenue models? How has e-commerce transformed marketing? How has e-commerce affected business-to-business transactions? And what is the role of m-commerce in business? And what are the most important m-commerce applications? What issues must be addressed when building an e-commerce website? So as of today, diba, everyone has been using e-commerce or has been engaged with e-commerce, especially during this pandemic wherein there are health protocols provided by our government that we are not able to go out for some time, especially during the ECQ or the Enhanced Community Quarantine. And as of today, most people prefer ordering online for their goods or anything that they want to buy because it is safer to stay at home during this pandemic. So the e-commerce refers to the use of the internet and the web to transact business. More formally, e-commerce is about digitally enabled commercial transactions between and among organizations and as well as individuals. For the most part, this means transactions that occur over the internet and the web. Commercial transactions involve the exchange of value. For example, money. It could be through also electronic money across organizational or individual boundaries in return for products and services. So for example, you'll be ordering a good or a product from an online shop like Shopee or Lazada. That means that you are engaged into an e-commerce. E-commerce began in 1995 when one of the first internet portals, the Netscape.com, accepted the first ads from major corporations and popularized the idea that the web would be used as a new medium for advertising and sales. No one envisioned at that time what would turn out to be an exponential growth curve for an e-commerce. Retail sales, which doubled and tripled in the early years. Kasi nga, it has been more convenient for most of the clients. They do not need to go out of their homes or they can order goods while they are within their offices. E-commerce grew at double-digit rates until the recession of 2008 to 2009 when growth slowed to a crawl. In 2009, e-commerce revenues were flat. Not bad considering that the traditional retail sales were shrinking by 5% annually. In fact, e-commerce during the recession was the only stable segment in retail. So just like what is happening today, most of the businesses or the physical stores are closing because they have difficulties in doing their operations physically. But then again, they are continuing their business through online, or they have converted their business into an online transaction, wherein all their products will be uploaded, will be seen by a larger market. For example, before, their physical store are located in Batangas City. So mostly their customers or their clients will be concerned or will be centralized only in Batangas City area. But today, since they have transformed it or transferred it to an online one, mas malaki yung naging market nila. Kasi they can show their products or any service that they are providing all over the world. That means that anyone can purchase their products or their services. Why e-commerce is different? So there are 8 unique features that we can discuss on with that. So first is ubiquity. In traditional commerce, a marketplace is a physical place, such as a retail store. So, nandiyan yung mga supermarket, our department store, that you visit to transact business, wherein you will be buying your goods or your products. E-commerce is ubiquitous, meaning that it is available just about everywhere at all times. Ibig sabihin, whether you are in any part or any location of the Philippines, you can order your products, and as well as at any time that is convenient for you. For example, for me, it is more convenient to buy goods or to look for goods over online shop during the night because I have work during the day, and as well as I have kids or I have family to attend with during the day. And as well as it would be also applicable to other people. It makes it possible to shop from your desktop or from your mobile devices at home or at work, or even from your car using smartphones. And as well as based from my personal experience, canvassing has been more easier. Kasi I am a type of person that when I buy something, I want to compare it first from different store or from different brands. Kasi I want to see what is the edge or what is the advantage if I buy this brand, or if I will be looking for this specific brand, saan ba ako pwedeng makamura. And in this way, I could be able to canvas or do canvassing in a easier manner. Kahit nakaupo lang ako on our comfort chair in our house, so I can do that. So, I can remember my mother was telling me na, masarap pumunta ng Divisoria kasi mas mura doon. She was always telling me that. But then again, considering our situation, wherein ngayon nga, dumadami na naman yung cases of the COVID-19, and the center of the spread ng virus is within the NCR or Metro Manila. Sabi ko, huwag na lang. Kasi baka makamura ka nga dun sa binili mo, kaso naman, you will not know kung ano yung risk ng pagpunta doon. And aside from that, considering, for example, kung magko-commute man kami, magkano ba yung magiging transportation fee namin, yung pamasahe namin, and as well as kapag nagta-travel ka, especially pagka-commute ka, yung pagod ng katawan mo. And if you will be comparing it kapag ka nag-order ka online, syempre, may cut kasi yung mga online stores doon. Syempre, for them to be sustainable one. And as well as you will be paying for the shipping fee. So, upon looking on the shipping fee and the additional value of the item, so it is reasonable enough na mag-order na lang tayo online. When ordering nga lang online, so make it a point, you read the reviews, you see what has been the customer feedback regarding that product. So, and as well as make it a habit to read. Kasi there are sellers that are uploading photos of a product, but then again, they have a different description. So, yung parang inspiration lang yung photos given and not the actual photo of the item that they are selling. So, much needed talaga that you read first the description and the customer review. The market space, as we define, is a marketplace extended beyond traditional boundaries and removed from a temporal and geographic location. So, from a consumer point of view, Ubiquity reduces transaction costs, the cost of participating in a market. To transact business, it is no longer necessary that you spend time or money traveling a market, and much less mental effort is required to make a purchase. Next feature is the global reach. So, e-commerce technology permits commercial transactions to cross cultural and national boundaries far more conveniently and cost-effectively than is true in traditional commerce. As a result, the potential market size for e-commerce merchants is roughly equal to the size of the world's online population. Third feature is the universal standards. One strikingly unusual feature of e-commerce technologies is that the technical standards of the internet and therefore the technical standards for conducting e-commerce are universal standards. They are shared by all nations around the world and enable any computer to link with any other computer regardless of the technology platform each is using. In contrast, the most traditional commerce technologies differ from one nation to the next. So, for instance, television and radio standards differ around the world, as does cell phone technology. So, the universal technical standards of the internet and e-commerce greatly lower market entry costs. The cost, so when we say market entry cost, it is the cost merchants must pay simply to bring their goods to market. At the same time, for consumers, universal standards reduce search costs. Or, when we say search costs, it is the effort required to find the suitable product. So, yun nga, it would also pertain to the idea of canvassing of a client or a customer wherein they are doing trade-offs of the products that are available over the market space. The fourth feature is richness. Information richness refers to the complexity and content of a message. Traditional markets, the national sales force, and small retail stores have great richness. They are able to provide the personal, face-to-face service using oral and visual cues when making a sale. The richness of traditional markets makes them powerful selling or commercial environments. Prior to the development of the web, there was a trade-off between richness and reach. The larger the audience reach, the less rich the message. The web makes it possible to deliver rich messages with text, audio, and video simultaneously to large numbers of people. Kaya I am using this for my another career as a financial advisor. So as you can see, if you are my friend over my Facebook account, I am always sharing thoughts or ideas on how an insurance and having an investment works or how it will benefit you. Kasi most of the time, people can read it and somehow reflect on do I really need or ganito ko ba talaga kailangan yung insurance in my life, especially during this pandemic. And through those mediums or through that way of marketing, I have gained customers or clients na naging interested sila kasi they were able to read or to see or somehow watch a video telling how important an insurance and having an investment is and how it is much needed during this pandemic. Next feature is interactivity. So unlike any of the commercial technologies of the 20th century, with the possible exception of the telephone, e-commerce technologies are interactive, meaning they allow for two-way communication between merchant and the consumer. So television, for instance, cannot ask viewers any questions or enter into conversations with them. And it cannot request that customer information be entered into a form. In contrast, all of these activities are possible on an e-commerce website. So, di ba? I know somehow you were able to experience to order on an online shop, di ba? You will be asked about your information, delivery address, and as well as your contact information, and especially the item that you are ordering. Interactivity allows an online merchant, so pag sinabi natin merchant, it is the seller, to engage a consumer in ways similar to a face-to-face experience but on a massive or global scale. So for example, yung kasi kami, I have a Shopee account as a seller. So there I can answer inquiries of my clients. I can ask them questions, and especially the descriptions of their orders. Kasi there are times you really need to have a conversation with clients. Kasi for example, yung mga wholesaler or clients that would order in bulk, so you need to communicate well with them kasi there might things that they want to customize with their orders. And also based on experience, when a seller or a merchant is having a good communication with their buyers or with their consumer, most likely they will be coming back to you. I have received those messages from my previous clients or previous customers that they were really satisfied with the products, with the quality of the products, and as well as they love or they like that the seller was communicating well with them, that the seller was entertaining their concerns with the product. So in that way, they will be coming back to you and again giving you orders. And syempre kapag may orders, additional income iyon as a seller. Next one is the information density. So the internet and the web vastly increase information density. So pag sinabi nating information density, that is the total amount and quality of information available to all market participants, the consumers, and the merchants alike. E-commerce technologies reduce information collection, storage, processing, and communication costs while greatly increasing the currency, the accuracy, and timeliness of information. So the density in e-commerce markets make prices and costs more transparent. So when we say price transparency, it refers to the ease with which consumers can find out the variety of prices in a market. So, di ba, pag nag-search tayo over Lazada or over Shopee, we already see the exact amount for each product. So, we can do differentiation or canvassing from different stores. The cost transparency naman, on the other hand, refers to the ability of consumers to discover the actual cost merchants pay for the products. So there are advantages for merchants as well. So online merchants can discover much more about consumers than in the past. So they could be able to see the data of the clients and somehow make decisions out of it. So online merchants can discover the interests of most of their clients. So this allows merchants to segment the market into groups that are willing to pay different prices and permits the merchants to engage in price discrimination. So price discrimination refers to selling the same goods or nearly the same goods to different targeted groups at different prices. The next feature or the unique feature is personalization or customization. So e-commerce technologies permit personalization. Merchants can target their marketing messages to specific individuals by adjusting the message to a person's clickstream behavior, the name, the interest, and the past purchases. The technology also permits customization. So when we say customization, it is about changing the delivered product or service based on a user's preference or prior behavior. So for example, yung one of the products that we have over our Shopee seller account is the painting set named painting set for kids. So in that way, customers can customize the that product depending on the names of the kids who will be using that painting set. Given the interactive nature of e-commerce technology, much information about the consumer can be gathered in the marketplace at the moment of purchase. With the increase in information density, a great deal of information about the consumer's past purchases and behavior can be stored and used by online merchants. And then last would be social technology. In contrast to previous technologies, the internet and e-commerce technologies have evolved to be much more social by allowing users to create and share with their personal friends, meaning there will be a larger worldwide community. Content in the form of text, the videos, music, or photos. Using these forms of communication, users are able to create new social networks and again strengthen existing ones. All previous mass media in the modern history, including the printing press, use a broadcast model where content is created in a central location by experts. So when we say expert, it would pertain to professional writers, editors, directors, and as well as producers. And audiences are concentrated in huge numbers to consume a standardized product. So the internet, the new internet and e-commerce empower users to create and distribute content on a large scale and permit users to program their own content consumption. The internet provides a unique many-to-many model of mass communication. Here are the key concepts in e-commerce. We have here the digital markets and the digital goods. So the location, the timing, and the revenue models of business are based in some part on the cost and as well as distribution of information. The internet has created a digital marketplace where millions of people all over the world are able to exchange massive amounts of information directly, instantly, and as well as for free. As a result, the internet has changed the way companies conduct business and increase their global reach. So the internet reduces information asymmetry. It exists when one party in a transaction has more information that is important for the transaction than the other party. That information helps determine their relative bargaining power. Or yung sinasabi ko nga sa inyo, consumers will have the ability to canvas easily. In digital markets, consumers and suppliers can see the prices being charged for goods, and in the sense, digital markets are said to be more transparent than traditional markets. The digital markets are also very flexible and efficient because they operate with reduced search and transaction costs. So, reduced search and transaction costs, just like what we have defined a while ago. Lower menu costs. So, pag sinabi nating menu cost, it is the merchant's cost of changing prices. Greater price discrimination and the ability to exchange or to change prices dynamically based on market conditions. In dynamic pricing, the price of a product varies depending on the demand characteristic of the customer or the supply situation of the seller. So, doon papasok yung ating economic concept wherein kapag mas mataas yung demand, pag mas mataas yung demand ng ating products or any product, so tumataas din yung prices. Ano po? So, just like what happened with the mask, the face mask during the first stage of our enhanced community quarantine. Diba? Tumaas yung demand sa face mask kasi everyone is required to wear face mask. Pero, on the contrary, mababa yung supply. So, ang nangyari, tumaas yung price ng mask. But as of today, diba, mapapansin nyo, since mataas na yung supply or marami na tayong supply, so bumababa na din yung price ng ating face mask available over the market. So, in this figure, we can see the benefits of this intermediation to the consumer. So, when we say this intermediation, so it is about the removal of organizations or business process layers responsible for intermediary steps in a value chain. So, this diagram also illustrates how much savings result from eliminating each of these layers in the distribution process. So, by selling, for example, by selling directly to consumers or reducing the number of intermediaries or yung mga tinatawag nating middleman. So, in the marketplace, we call them middleman. Companies are able to raise profits while charging lower prices. So, yun yung tinatawag or the idea of this intermediation. So, nilelesen na natin yung mga middleman or intermediaries na tinatawag natin. So, ang effect niya or ang benefit niya, si manufacturer can provide lower cost to the customer. Kasi nga, wala nang naging cut si distributor. So, directly na siya napupunta kay customer. So, ibig sabihin, nare-rip din ng customer yung bargaining power niya on that part. So, yun yun. On the first part, diba, makikita nyo the manufacturer. So, dadaan pa siya kay distributor, then retailer. So, saka pa mapapapunta or marireceive ni customer. So, that costs the customer to pay for $48.50. On the next Example, the manufacturer, diretso na siya kay retailer. And then, from retailer to customer. So, nakasave of about $8 si customer on that scenario. But on the last, directly na nakapag-provide si manufacturer kay customer. And you can see the big difference of the price for the sweater or for a product by that time. So from $40, it has been reduced to $20.45. Here are the key concepts in e-commerce that is important for us to know. First is the digital goods. So the internet digital marketplace has greatly expanded sales of digital goods. So when we say digital goods, these are goods that can be delivered over a digital network. It could be music, music tracks, video, Hollywood movies, software, newspapers, magazines, and books or e-books that can all be expressed, stored, and delivered and sold as purely digital products. So today, all these products are delivered as digital streams or downloads, while their physical counterparts decline in sales. So the impact of the internet on the market for this kind of digital good is nothing short of revolutionary. And we see the results around us every day, especially nga ngayong pandemic. So even the payment schemes, diba, have been changed into a digital one. So most of us prefer paying our bills online kasi mas convenient. At the comfort of your homes, you can actually pay for your electric bills, water bills, or your internet bills. There are different types of e-commerce. First one, we have our business to consumer. Next is the business to business or B2B. Next is consumer to consumer. And last one is our mobile commerce or m-commerce. So let us define each first. So business to consumer or the B2C is an electronic commerce that involves retailing products and services to individual shoppers. So for example, the Lazada and the Shopee, diba? Directly tayo as consumer or as customers who order goods from it. So we can buy kitchen tools or utensils or different electronic gadgets from that stores. Next one is to business or B2B. It is an electronic commerce naman that involves sales of goods and services among businesses. So ibig sabihin, transaction is between a business into another business. So for example, when a business is trying to buy or buying and selling chemicals and plastics, so that is an example of B2B. So they are buying their raw materials from a specific another business. Next one is the consumer to consumer or C2C. So, electronic commerce naman siya that involves consumers selling directly to consumers. So, for example, yung eBay, if you have used eBay, so it is a giant web auction site that enables people to sell their goods to other consumers by auctioning their merchandise off to the highest bidder. So, sino yung pinakamataas na nagbigay ng price or bid for that specific product. So, sa kanya mapupunta yung item. And then, lastly, will be the mobile camera. So, it involves the use of handheld wireless devices for purchasing goods and services. There are e-commerce business models that we should be able to identify. One is the portal. So, portals are gateways to the web and are often defined as those sites which users set as their homepage. Some definitions of a portal include search engines like Google and Mozilla Firefox and even Bing if you make those sites their homepage. Next one is our e-tailer. So, online retail stores, often called as e-tailers. It comes in all sizes, from giant, for example, the Amazon, with 2011 revenues of more than $48 billion, to tiny local stores that have websites. So, an e-tailer is similar to the typical bricks and mortar storefront, except that the customers only need to connect to the internet. So, they do not have to travel to the physical store just to check in the products that the store have. Altogether, online retail will generate based from studies for about 224 billion in revenues for the upcoming years. So, but most likely by this time it has been increased greatly. Kasi nga the demand for e-tailers or the transactions over online have been widely used by most people. Next one is the content provider. So while e-commerce began as a retail product channel, it has increasingly turned into a global content channel. So when we see content, it is defined broadly to include all forms of intellectual property. So, as we define intellectual property or IP that we have discussed last time, then refers to all forms of human expression that can be put into tangible medium. Next business model is the transaction broker. Sites that process transactions for consumers normally handled in person by phone or by mail or email are what we call transaction brokers. The largest industries using this model are financial services and travel services. So the online transaction brokers' primary value propositions are savings of money and time, as well as providing an extraordinary inventory of financial products and travel packages in a single location. So, online stockbrokers and travel booking services charge fees that are considerably less than the traditional versions of this said services. Next one, we have market creator. So when we say market creators, so they build a digital environment in which buyers and sellers can meet, can display products, search for products, and establish the price for each product. The value proposition of online market creators is that they provide a platform where sellers can easily display their wares and where purchasers can buy directly from the sellers. And then we also have our service provider. While e-tailers sell products online, service providers offer services naman online. There's been an explosion in online services, the Web 2.0 applications, photo sharing, and online sites for data backup and storage all use a service provider business model. Software is no longer a physical product with a CD in a box, but increasingly software as a service, or SaaS, that you subscribe to online rather than purchase from a retailer or an app that you can download. So for example, the tools, for example, Canva for editing your photos, or InShot for editing your video. So, diba, meron silang mga in-app purchases or the subscription para ma-enjoy mo yung full-featured application. So, that is one example of service provider. And then next one, we have community providers. So, when we say naman community providers, these are sites that create a digital online environment where people with similar interests can transact or can do buy and selling of goods, share interests, photos, videos, or communicate with like-minded people. They receive interest-related information and even play out fantasies by adopting online personalities that we call avatars. The revenue models or the e-commerce revenue model. So, pag sinabi nating revenue model, it describes how the firm will earn revenue or generate profits and produce a superior return on investment or ROI. Although there are many different e-commerce revenue models that have been developed, most companies rely on one or some combination of the following 6 revenue models, which are advertising, the sales, the subscription, the free or freemium, and transaction fee and affiliate. First one is advertising. So, when we say advertising model or advertising review model, so a website generates revenue by attracting a large audience of visitors who can be exposed to advertisement. The advertising model is the most widely used revenue model in e-commerce, and arguably, without advertising revenues, the web would be a vastly different experience from what it is now. So, content on the web, or everything from news to videos and opinions, is free to visitors because advertisers pay the production and distribution costs in return for the right to expose visitors to ads. Next one, we have our sales or the sales revenue model. So, in this, companies derive revenue by selling goods, information, or services to customers. The companies like Amazon, which sells book, music, and other products, all have sales revenue models. Content providers make money by charging for downloads of entire files such as music tracks, just like in iTunes Store, or books for downloading music and or video streams. Apple has pioneered and strengthened the acceptance of micropayment. So, pag sinabi nating micropayment systems, they provide content providers with a cost-effective method for processing high volumes of very small monetary transactions. And then next one, we have our subscription revenue model. In this model, a website offering content or services charges a subscription fee for access to some sort or all of its offerings on an ongoing basis. The content providers often use this revenue model. So for instance, the online version of Consumer Reports provide access to premium content such as detailed ratings, the reviews, and recommendations only to the subscribers or to those who paid for that subscription. The next one, or the fourth one, we have the free or the freemium revenue model. The firms offer basic services or content for free while charging a premium for advanced or special features. So for example, the Google offers free application, but it will charge you for premium services. And then next one, or the fifth one, we have the transaction fee revenue model. So in this model naman, a company receives a fee for enabling or executing a transaction. For example, the eBay. So eBay provides an online auction marketplace and receives a small transaction fee from a seller if the seller is successful in selling an item. So that is also what happens to Lazada and Shopee. So a specific cut or a percentage is given to the to Lazada or to Shopee by the seller. And then last one, we have the affiliate revenue model, wherein websites, or what we call affiliate websites, send visitors to other websites, or it will anchor you to other websites in return for a referral fee or percentage of the revenue from any resulting sales. So most popular Web 2.0 services that is used for social networking. So social networking sites sell banner ads, user preference information, and music videos and ebooks. The social shopping sites naman, like for example, Pinterest, the Kabodle, Richness, offers different products. Or you can also swap shopping ideas with friends through this social shopping site. So, ibig sabihin, may interaction kayo with your friends over this social shopping sites. So, Facebook also offers, for example, the like button. Or the Google, diba? May +1 button to let your friends know that you admire something, and in some cases, purchase something online. So, in Facebook today, di ba, ang uso sa atin ay live selling. So, if your friend refers to you that specific seller or that shop, so, di ba, ilalike niya yung live selling videos, and then, isi-share niya yon over different sites. So, kaya nauso din yung pinashare ng mga sellers, ng live sellers, yung kanilang mga videos para makapag-reach out sila from your other friends or from your friends over Facebook. The next one, we have our wisdom of crowds. So, creating sites where thousands or even millions of people can interact, offer business firms new ways to market and advertise, to discover who likes, or syempre hindi mawawala yung who hates their products. And this phenomenon or this scenario is what we call wisdom of crowds. So some argue that large numbers of people can make better decisions about a wide range of topics or products than a single person or even a small committee of experts. And then, we also have our prediction markets. So these are established as peer-to-peer betting markets where participants make bets on specific outcomes of, say, quarterly sales of a new product, the designs of new products, or political elections. The e-commerce marketing. So while e-commerce and the internet have changed entire industries and enabled new business models, no industry has been more affected than marketing and marketing communications. So the internet provides marketers with new ways of identifying and communicating with millions of potential customers at costs far lower than the traditional media, including search engine marketing, data mining, recommender systems, and targeted email. So, diba, if maaalala nyo, before, the traditional way or the most effective way of advertising is through television ads, yung mga commercials over our television. But as of today, kasi mas madami na yung gumagamit ng internet, wherein mas accessible na sila over the use of the internet, the ads are drastically changing into e-commerce ads. So, mapapansin nyo, di ba? Over the YouTube videos, may mga ads na lumalabas, or through our Facebook, may mga Facebook ads tayo on the different videos that we are watching. Moving on, so the internet also enables long-tail marketing. So before the internet, reaching a large audience was very expensive, and marketers had to focus on attracting the largest number of consumers with popular hit products, whether music or movies or books or cars. In contrast, the internet allows marketers to inexpensively find potential customers for products where demand is very low. For instance, the internet makes it possible to sell independent music profitably to very small audiences. There's always some demand for almost any product. Put a string of such long-tail sales together and you have a profitable business. Just like what I am doing as a financial advisor. I am looking for groups who are more interested with investment or who have minimal knowledge with insurance. So there, I express my knowledge about insurance. I share to them the thoughts and how important an individual should have an insurance plan. And from there, I was able to acquire clients or customers then. So many e-commerce marketing firms use behavioral targeting techniques to increase the effectiveness of banner, the rich media, and video ads. The behavioral targeting refers to tracking the click streams or the history of clicking behavior of the clients or individuals on thousands of websites for the purpose of understanding their interests and intentions and exposing them to advertisements that are uniquely suited to their behavior. Proponents believe this is more precise understanding of the customer leads to more efficient marketing and as well as larger sales and revenues. So in this figure, we will be able to see a website visitor tracking. So e-commerce websites have tools to track a shopper's every step through an online store. Close examination of customer behavior at a website selling women's clothing shows what the store might learn at each step and what actions it could take to increase the sales. So, ibig sabihin, every website or shopping site has the track on what is the behavior of each visitor. For example, they will be searching for example, the client is a mother, so she will be searching for a diaper brand for her baby, and then after a while she will be searching on other baby essentials, for example, accessories of the babies. So from there on, the e-commerce site could have a better understanding of the behavior of that client. So most likely pala, for example lang, most likely pala kapag mothers or within the range of 25 to 35, they are always looking for baby essentials, for example, the diapers. Then after a while, they will also be ordering items or accessories for their babies. The next one is a website personalization. So, firms can create unique, personalized web pages that display content or ads for products or services of special interest to individual users, improving the customer experience and creating additional value. Diba? As consumers, when we are acknowledged by that site or the shop that we are browsing on, so mas nararamdaman natin that we are welcome with that specific site, or we are assured that it is a legit one. Ano po, 'di ba? As of today, yung concern natin palagi is the legitimacy of the shop that we are interacting with. Kasi syempre there have been security issues or problems that have arose, and that is one thing that we are concerned about. And then we have what we call, in terms of business-to-business e-commerce or our B2B, we have our electronic data exchange or EDI. So, computer-to-computer exchange of standard transactions such as invoices or PO or what we call purchase orders. Major industries have EDI. Standards that define structure and information fields of electronic documents for that industry. More companies increasingly moving away from private networks to internet for linking to other firms. Kasi nga, mas madali yung sharing of documents. For example na lang yung purchase orders. So, they can immediately send it to the other business. Or, in that way din kasi, meron silang a way of tracking the documents. If it has been successfully received by the other business or it has been rejected for some reasons. So, in this figure, we can see how an EDI works. So, we have our supplier system and the firm system. There will be exchange of data in terms of shipping, the payment, the production, and inventory requirements. And as well as through this system, there will be a continuous replenishment of the supplies or the products that they have been exchanging with. The private industrial networks naman or private exchanges pertains to large firm using extranet to link to its suppliers, distributors, and other key partners. So, it is owned by the buyer and permits sharing of, we have the product design and development, the marketing, production scheduling and inventory management, and as well as the unstructured communication between the consumer and the sellers. And then, for m-commerce, or what we call our mobile commerce, which is widely used as of today. Kasi 'di ba, on our time, or in this situation, mas convenient for most of us to use our mobile devices or our smartphone. Kasi they are portable, we can use it anywhere or anytime. Although m-commerce represents small fraction of the total e-commerce transaction revenue that has been steadily growing, it has provided location-based transactions as well as banking and financial services. So, dyan papasok yung mga mobile banking natin as of today, the wireless and advertising and retailing, and as well as the games and entertainment that it is providing to us. Diba? Yung mga games that we have on our mobile devices, it also have in-app purchases para mas ma-reap mo yung entertainment value of that specific game, or para makapag level up ka on that specific game. So in this diagram, or in this figure, we can see that mobile e-commerce is the fastest growing type of B2C e-commerce, although it represents only a small part of all e-commerce in 2010. So as you can see, from 2009, it has drastically moved faster or increased the revenues from the mobile commerce. So, assembling a team with the skills required to make decisions about technology, the site design of the e-commerce, the social and information policies that they need to adopt with, and the hardware, software, and telecommunication infrastructure is very important kasi it would provide a wide impact on how the consumer would interact with that specific m-commerce or e-commerce site. Customer demand should drive the site's technology and design. In other words, your e-commerce should be convenient to use. Should be user-friendly. Yung hindi malilito yung ating mga clients on how they will be manipulating or how they will be using that specific e-commerce. Business decisions drive the technology and not the reverse. So first thing and foremost, we need to set the business objectives. Again, it is very important that we set the objectives, or we know the business objectives. The objectives would encompass the capabilities that the site should have. For example, execute a transaction payment. Next one is the system functionality. So, what are the functions within that system? What function or features should it provide for the consumers? So, it pertains to technological capability to achieve that we have defined. And lastly is the information requirement. So, for example, we will need to secure the credit card clearing and multiple payment options of the clients. And that would be all for e-commerce, digital markets, and digital goods.